So again, once again, I think I broke this down. Let's see. There we go. So here was a couple of things from the setup, right? So the setup looked like this. Here we go. I'm just sending this to one of my students as well. So if I break this down, there we go. So this here was, again, I took two setups this day, right? I actually took two separate setups. So my first setup was, I actually had my TP at the top of this level, right? And what was interesting here, if we just take, again, a lesson about levels, right? Key level 1 was acting as a huge supply, right? So I wanted price to fill this fair value gap. However, we were rejecting, right? So understand where your levels are, right? Key level 1, so if you're trading ES, key level 1, 80 to about 90, 91. This was a huge area of supply. So we went from demand to supply. So understand, right? Understand where your levels are. That's very important. But once you understand where your levels are, you can start to then, you know where to target. So I should have targeted here. I decided to hold it up to the weekly opening price, which was, just a bit unlucky. We never got there. So again, broke even on this trade here. So as price came in, I went break even, then I decided to go long again. So I want to break down the second long. So the second long was a little bit cleaner in my opinion than the first long, right? So I went long again at 52, right? So that's going to be here, 67, 52 or 53 area. So now we want to break down how this formed, right? What made me go long the second time? So that is here, right? So let's break this down. So the second long looked something like this, right? So we tap into this area. This is going to be a lesson on support and resistance, I guess, but mainly support. So if you're an ES trader, I want you to go to 67.45. I'll mark this up on your charts. Go and back test this level, 67.45. Right, 67.45, right, just here, 67.45. In fact, I'm going to put it in big, put in big writing, right, 67.45. What you can see here is the entry here, and then the initial re-entry over here. So this was at 17 past 10, and this was at 53 past 10. And this was a very fast moving trade up to this resistance area. So again, the entry came at 52. Or 52.75 it was. Stops now, I was comfortable to have them ideally at the same place, but I had them kind of trailed here. And I was targeting this zone, which unfortunately never got hit, right? We never seem to have hit that zone, which is quite, quite frustrating, but it's one of those things. So now we want to understand what made me go long here. And it was the same thing. This is support, right? This is how support forms, right?